Washington's favorite place to eat and where all the locals go is down on Main Street. Down on Main Street's new fall weekly lunch specials are here and only for $8.99. Stop by Monday through Friday and enjoy chicken and pastry, spaghetti, meatloaf, hamburger, steak, and everyone's favorite fried shrimp plate. After work, Down on Main Street is the perfect spot for dinner and drinks with friends. Down on Main Street in historic downtown Washington. Go Pirates!
I'm Donald Stocks, owner of Pip Marketing Signs Print. We are your one-stop shop for just about anything printed. If we're not your go-to printer, please give us a call at 355-1636. We have over 80 five-star Google reviews and want you to be our next more than satisfied and well-pleased customer. Check us out at growatpip.com or stop in to see us at 3185 Mosley Drive in Greenville. Pip, where business goes to growth.
Fish Street Hardware is hosting an event on Saturday, November 9th, Mountain Music. From noon to 10 p.m., join us and 9 amazing Pitt County artists, including Back Row Backsliders, Jake Sutton, Morgan and Griff, Jake Mitchell, and more to support Western North Carolina and the relief efforts from Hurricane Helene. T-shirt sales, giveaways, and food specials all day long. Mark your calendar and plan to join us. Donations will be accepted all day long as cash, Venmo, or an on-site donation box. Check out our social media for more information. We will see you next Saturday at Fish Street Hardware.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern Carolina's longest-running sports radio show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show is powered by Greenville Utilities and also brought to you by
The Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Welcome into the show. We're going to preview round one of the state high school football playoffs. Of course, last week was kind of a bye week for everybody in the East, as the West was given some time to try to catch up, make up a game or two because of all the problems from Hurricane Helene. But we're ready to go now with the postseason. Coming up on our show today, Sean Murphy with John Paul II. He'll be on with us. His team is actually playing for a state championship coming up on Friday night. We'll also talk with high school coaches Jeff Craddock at Tarboro, Will Bland at J.H. Rose, Nate Conner at D.H. Conley, Paul Cornwell at Aiden Grifton, and Brent Wooten over at Havelock High School. Previewing round one of the state playoffs and that state championship game for the NCIS-AA 8-man football title featuring JP2. It's all coming up on the Brian Bailey Show on this Veterans Day Monday after this.
Did you know that GUC's utility rates are not only low in the region, but also the state? That's right. When you combine the average electric, water, wastewater, and natural gas into one bill, only people in 2 of the 15 largest cities pay less than GUC customers. Only 2. Low rates and high reliability. Working in the best interest of the community rather than shareholders. That's the value of public utilities. That's the value of GUC.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arr!
This is Dr. Christopher McDowell from Orthopedics East and Sports Medicine Center. Our practice has been caring for athletes at ECU and the residents of Eastern North Carolina for more than 35 years. Whether it's time for your sports injury or it's time for that joint replacement, Orthopedics East provides the latest in operative and non-operative orthopedic care. We also offer on-site physical therapy and MRI services, as well as walk-in urgent care on the weekends from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For experience and professional care, call us at 757-BONE or visit us online at orthoeast.com. Go Pirates.
This is Talbot Green with Integrity Home Mortgage. Are you ready and pre-approved if the home you want to purchase comes for sale today? This is a very important step when trying to purchase a home in the current market. Integrity Home Mortgage offers a wide variety of loan programs. Our team of Talbot Green, Braxton Green, and Joe M. Weir has over 50 years of experience and is committed to providing you with the superior customer service you deserve. To get started, call me, Talbot Green, 714-2076.
Talbot Green, NMLS 120331. For informational purposes only. Integrity Home Mortgage Corporation is equal housing lender. NMLS 208516.
I'm Caleb Stroud, the founder of Stroud's Marine. I grew up on the water and I've loved boating my entire life. In 2012, I decided to give back to the marine community by creating a way for boaters to order pre-owned salvage marine parts online. Stroud's Marine was born to offer incredible prices and unparalleled customer service. We stand behind every part we sell, and our mission is to save you money and get you back on the water as quickly as possible. Visit StroudsMarine.com today for more information. Stroud's Marine, your best source for salvage outboard parts.
This is proud ECU alumni David Price of David Price Construction. As a leading general contracting firm, we specialize in commercial construction and renovation. Whether it's updating your office space, renovating your restaurant, or building a new retail store, our team at David Price Construction is ready to assist. We are committed to delivering quality, value, and customer satisfaction across all of our projects. So give us a call at 919-820-3612 or find us online at davidpriceconstruction.com. Go Pirates!
Pirate Radio, your number one station for the latest on ECU sports. We are the voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show on this Veterans Day Monday. Going to preview the high school football playoffs to come, and we're going to kick it off with our first coach coming up right now. All right, Jeff Craddock's going to join us first. And we missed Coach Craddock in the preseason, so we got him first today. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You taught me a great lesson. If I screw up one time, man, you're going to make me pay the consequences. I don't know how long ago it's been, but I'm glad to talk to you.
I'll tell you what, you guys had another Tarboro-like season, didn't you? And I thought the fact that you guys scheduled a powerhouse like Havelock and that game, I mean, that was a really, really highly competitive football game. And that's got to make you a better football team, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing but respect. Obviously, the guys at Havelock, I knew many of the guys many years, and I didn't really want to have two buys right early in the middle of the season like that, and kind of looking for a game. And Havelock made the call, and trust me, I know what Havelock has. I mean, obviously, talent-wise, they were just a leg up on us. And, I thought it was a great environment. It was a lot of fun. I hated to lose the game, of course, but we didn't quite play well enough. I thought we hung in there for about 3 quarters, and the wheels kind of fell off. But it was a great time. We learned a lot about ourselves, and I think we're a better football team for it.
You know, you talked about buys, and if you got stuck with a buy that week, the end of the season comes around, and you guys have a buy because of the problems out in the western part of the state, and now you start the playoffs and you get a buy. So how do you keep everybody focused on football? Because I know this time of year especially, players, they're a little banged up, they're a little tired, but you got to get these guys, right, because the season really starts. The second season, the Tarboro season, starts for you guys next week.
Yeah, it's something that we've been blessed to deal with. Having a bye week means you've had a great regular season. Once again, we're the number 1 seed. Of course, the week was extended, but my heart prayers go out to the people out west. We know exactly how they feel. We've had to deal with that on the East Coast ourselves. So I thought it was a good thing what the North Carolina High School Athletic Association did, helping those schools, giving them an extra week. If I'd had my druthers, I wish they would have peeled a week off the playoffs, but hey, that's neither here nor there. But you just got to do what's best for your team. Do you practice 3 days a week, 4 days a week? How hard you hit? Are you conditioning? Are you preparing for a team you may think you may play? Actually, the Mighty Vikings this year, we took a little more time off than usual. We still hit the weight room hard, but just a couple days. We went outside, I think 3 days last week, and only for about an hour. And it was sharp. The kids stay focused. We are working on a few different wrinkles for the for the playoffs. And I think if you try to keep the kids out there too long without an opponent, they can get a little sloppy. So our folks says, hey, guys, I want an hour out of you, and let's make it sharp. Let's make it crisp. We all know what the goal is, and that's what we're working towards. So we'll do the same thing this week, and then Saturday morning we'll wake up and have an opponent to play, and we'll get ready for the playoffs.
A former coach of mine, I'll never forget it. He would say, do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long.
It is so true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah, and I still remember doing it wrong and running sprints and coming back to the huddle about to die, and he'd say it again. Do it right, do it light, do it wrong, do it long. There you go. Tarboro 9-1 on the season, coached by Jeff Craddock. He joins us, the 1A East #1 seed, but the bye the first round. In round 2, you would either see Lejeune or Weldon Stem. And I saw Lejeune, some of their scores, and they've had a better year than maybe normally for Lejeune. But what do you think about those two teams?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about them at all. I've never played either one of them, so I'm the type of guy. I'm not going to settle up this week and try to get films on both these two teams and watch both. And okay, I'm going to play one of them. So I'm going to get up Saturday morning and I'm going to see who won the game. And then I can promise you at that point in time, whoever we decide to play is going to have not only my attention, but the entire coaching staff, the entire football team. We'll be on it. So, I wish both schools luck. Like I said, I don't even know what they run, but both of them are in the playoffs. We get to play the winner. And I'll be excited for the challenge because it's going to be somebody different, which I think is always really cool about the playoffs, is playing teams you normally don't get a chance to play. So yeah, it'll be fun. And my biggest thing is making sure that I have my football team ready to play regardless of which opponent we happen to play.
When you take a look at that 1A East bracket, you look at North Duplin undefeated. You look at Wilson Prep, always, they've got a good football team. Pender. What do you think of the bracket as a whole?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a challenge. I was taking a sneak peek yesterday. I mean, I can't help it sometimes, but, Pender, we played Pender a couple of years ago, and we beat them by 10, but it was 12-12 with like a minute and a half left in the game, and we happened to get a safety. And then they kicked off, and they had to do an onside kick, and we got it. We ended up scoring. So that game was not indicative. They gave us everything we wanted at Tarboro. And I kind of looked at their scores, and I'm like, holy Jesus, I don't know if it's on like 73 here, 72 here, 61 here. I'm like, man, these guys can score some freaking points. So they look like they could be a challenge. Obviously, looking at the other side, like you just mentioned, Wilson Prep, we saw them at our Jamboree. Obviously, they're well coached, have a bunch of great athletes over there. And North Duplin, I haven't ran across North Duplin. I've seen them on film in the past. But I know the type of program that they have. So there's a lot of great teams out there. Like I said, that's what it's for. It should be a lot of fun, and hopefully the Vikings will be well rested. That's one for sure, and ready to play some football here soon.
And we always say that if you're practicing on Thanksgiving, you've had a great year. This year, more teams will be practicing on Thanksgiving because we're a week behind as far as the playoffs go. But the playoff football and Thanksgiving, the holiday, they kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know how many years we've been blessed to play on Thanksgiving. I think it's since 2008. So we've been able to get the boys up. We just have a lot of fun. We get little Abrams biscuit, and we have a drink, and we say a prayer in our film room and say, what we're thankful for, and watch a little film, of course, and then we go out there and do our typical Thursday walkthrough. She's a little crisp, a little cool in the air, and everybody goes, we're done around 10, and then you just enjoy the day. So it's a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get to that point. I'm trying to think when I first started this gig, those playoffs were shorter. I think you only had 5 weeks. So if you got to Thanksgiving, I mean, you were right.
You were there.
The Final Four, yeah. I mean, it was, and now they've kind of stressed the playoffs out a little bit. So now I think it's usually round 3, and now of course with the extended week, is it round 2 now or round 3? I don't even know, but anyway, it's still really really fun. It's a great time, and hopefully we keep that tradition alive.
All right, Coach, final thought before we let you go. Next year, as far as the realignments go, what will Tarboro fall? Is that a 2A or 3A?
Yeah, all signs are pointing. We'll be a 2A team next year. Our ADMs, I think, are around the 530 range. So, once again, I really don't worry about things that are pretty much out of my control. Wherever they put us in. I'll be excited for the challenge. I know we're definitely not going to be in 1A. So I'm thinking I would bet 2A, but 2A or 3A, you know, it is what it is. Whatever conference they say we played, and we'll be in that conference, and we'll get ready for a new host of teams possibly, or maybe some of the teams will be familiar. But I really just hope that they get it out in an early time, so all the head coaches and all the teams have time to find non-conference, because you don't know how big of a conference you're going to be put in.
That's right.
Which determines how many non-conferences schedule, and that's not easy. So my biggest concern is I hope they just get it out in a very early in 2025, so then we can go ahead and start plotting what we need to do.
Jeff Craddock, the fine coach at Tarboro. Coach, good luck in the playoffs. Enjoy your bye week this week, and we'll see you on the sideline soon.
Absolutely. I appreciate your coverage, guys. Thanks a bunch.
All right, Jeff Craddock over at Tarboro High School as our playoff preview continues. Right now, we're going to join Will Bland over at J.H. Rose High School. This was not the year that the Rampants had hoped for as far as the record goes. 2-8 overall, 2-4 in the Big Carolina. However, the Rampants do make the postseason at 2-8. They're the number 30 seed, taking on the 3 seed Northern Nash. Northern Nash is undefeated, 10-0, and it looks like a mismatch when you look at that on paper. But if you look closer, Northern Nash only beat Rose 42-36 earlier this year. And I would say, Coach Bland, your players have a little confidence going into this game, don't they?
I think so. I think the last 2 games, I think we've been competitive. The guys are finally buying into a lot of stuff that we've been trying to teach them all year. And now they're just going out there and just having fun. So hopefully we can get in the playoffs. Like I said, everybody starts 0-0, the new season. So if we can get on a run, it'd be pretty good for us.
Do you think if you'd have won one of those games early in the year, that would have given your team more confidence and maybe you guys could have gotten on a roll?
Yeah, you can look like that as a part, because a lot of games we did lose. I think we lost 6 this year by a touchdown. So, you know, a couple of mistakes here, some bad calls there didn't get us to where we need to go. So I thought when we won the first one after going 0-5 that we was hitting the right track. But, you know, unfortunately, again, we lost to our state rival Conley with a short game, lost by a touchdown. So I think that deflated a little bit. But I think the guys are back where they need to be and ready for the challenge that we have.
You know, some people say there's too many teams in the playoffs. Obviously, at 2-8, and people look at that and say they shouldn't be in the playoffs. But what do you and the players feel like when you get a chance? I mean, it's almost, in my mind, is looking at giving you guys a second chance at having a season to remember. I mean, you got a chance to go on a roll now.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good deal. I was talking to somebody about it. You know, now that with the RPI system, you do have to factor in strength of schedule. So, I mean, like, I could have went out and got some teams that we could have beat very handily, but I wanted to challenge our guys. And, you know, even though we are 2-8, I thought they competed in all them games. I look back on all the teams we played, and their records are 72-27. So we do have a hard conference. We did have some teams that we had to play. I think almost everybody made the playoffs. So it's just kudos to them for just sticking with it. And now, if we can reap the reward from the challenges non-conference and the conference schedule in the playoffs, it'd be pretty good.
And we've seen it so many times through the years that all of that tough competition in a conference pays dividends when you start playing other teams, because some teams get into the playoffs, they have these gaudy records, but their teams aren't any good in their conference, so it's a big difference.
It is, and I think that we've been blessed for the last couple of years since I've been head coach of being able to play and get a great conference and play some tough games that we get in the playoffs, and then we know how to perform and how adversity hits and stuff. So if we can do that this year, I think we'll be well off, especially against a good Northern Nash team. So if we can start that right now, then I think we'll be able to make a little run.
What do you remember about the Northern Nash game? 42-36, the Rapids fell. But what do you remember about that game this year?
Well, I remember, I think we was up by 2 touchdowns. They drove down. They caught a real good fade ball on our DB, and then they kicked off to us, and then one of our players decided that we were going to try to do a trick play, and it backfired.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, picked it off in the middle of the air and then took the lead, and then was unable to score at the end. So.
I remember that game. That was absolutely bizarre because you guys were in control, and I think I asked somebody later on about that trick play. Where did that trick play come from, and why do you think they decided to try it then?
Well, I think Well, it didn't come from us. I think I think the kid wanted to make a play and wanted to give it to the playmaker, which is Deshaun Davis on the other side of the field. And wasn't thinking, wanted to make a big play, help the team out. It wasn't doing it maliciously or anything like that. Just to make a play. And, it backfired a little bit. And I thought that kid's a great kid and stuff, and he's been doing great ever since then. But I told him we just got to make the right decision at the right time.
Exactly right. And maybe that's a lesson to be learned, and that's a life lesson that, the sport of football is so full of life lessons. Very quickly, what has to go right for your ball club in this matchup with Northern Nash? Because they ran the table. They come to the end of this game undefeated. You guys have to go on the road this time, but what has to go right for you guys to win?
Well, what has to go right is we got to be able to go in there and we got to manage the line of scrimmage, to control the trenches, and then we got to be able to execute when we need to. We got to be able to make plays when it's get called for, and then we got to play some great defense. And I thought they've been doing that the last couple of games, especially the last two. And then just go out there, have fun. Everybody expect the worst for you. Just go out there and then just prove a lot of people wrong.
Sounds good. Will Bland, the head football coach at J.H. Rose. Coach, good luck this week.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Brian.
All right, Rose, the number 30 seed, taking on 3-seed Northern Nash. That's in the 3A East bracket. I want to thank Coach Will Bland for joining us. Let's take a commercial break right now. We'll come back and continue our previews of the first round of the state high school football playoffs here on the Brian Bailey Show on this Veterans Day after this.
This is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11 north of the airport in Greenville. East Carolina's men's team defeated Coastal Carolina on Saturday 63-59. R.J. Felton finished with 25 points and 11 rebounds. The Pirates will host Mount Olive tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. On the women's side, East Carolina lost to JMU 57-51. Farmville Central product Amaya Joyner finished with 14 points and 12 rebounds. The Pirates will host Furman at home on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break. I'm Shirley Rhodes.
The Angus Grill is your premier spot for the best burgers, cheesesteaks, and brisket sandwiches around. Join us for our unmatched variety of burger combinations, from the mushroom bacon Swiss burger to the jalapeno popper burger to the original Angus classic. Pair that burger with our amazing onion rings, tots, fries, or sweet potato fries. Angus Grill, with 4 amazing locations in eastern North Carolina, including Winterville near Pitt Community College, on Jarvis Street in uptown Greenville, and on Statensburg Road near the hospital. It's the best burger around, guaranteed.
Pirate football comes to Bostic Sugg Furniture this Saturday. Quarterback Caton Hauser and wide receiver Winston Wright Jr. will be on hand for autographs and pictures this Saturday from 12 to 1. Bostic Sugg will be giving the first 50 people a free autographed miniature football. The Pirates have an open Saturday this week, but you can still whet your Pirate football appetite by meeting quarterback Caton Hauser and wide receiver Winston Wright Jr. this Saturday from 12 to 1 at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
IMAX is here with mind-blowing images and earth-shattering sound. Come experience the first IMAX theater in eastern North Carolina, only at Golden Ticket Cinemas in Greenville. Crystal clear IMAX laser projection and precision sound come together to provide the ultimate movie experience. And as always, Golden Ticket Cinemas has unlimited popcorn and the best selection of concessions around. Book your tickets at gtcinemas.com and come experience the best in cinematic quality. IMAX, only at Golden Ticket Cinemas.
Hi folks, Kyle Gaines here from Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Hope everybody's having a great November. Just tell you what's going on here at Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram this month. Have huge savings and selection on Ram 2500s. That's right, up to $10,000 off our Ram 2500s here at Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Also, huge selection of pre-owned vehicles starting at $599 and up. So remember, drive a little, save a lot.
Head on over to Washington Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Drive a little, save a lot.
Here at the Holistic Company, we know that life throws you its fair share of curveballs, like passing that drug test. Congrats. Now you can finally relax, kick back, and well, light one up. You've earned it. And whether you've had one of those weeks, or maybe your mother-in-law's in town and you're one passive-aggressive comment away from needing a vacation. If this sounds like you, then come visit our team here at the Holistic Company to help you find the perfect products to ease your stress and promote relaxation. Order our products online at theholisticco.com or visit us at 5th and Evans in Greenville or at one of our other 2 locations in Fremont or Smithfield. The Holistic Company.
Pirate Radio.
Remember, in a pirate ship, in pirate waters, in a pirate world, ask no questions. Believe only what you see.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show on this Veterans Day Monday, previewing round one of the state high school football playoffs. As we've said a couple of times, the North Carolina High School Athletic Association gave everybody off this past Friday night for makeup games and that kind of thing. Most of the East didn't play. They took it as a bye week to get ready for the playoffs. The West tried to catch up with a game or two in that time, and then the seedings came out yesterday. Nate Connor is the head football coach at D.H. Conley. His Vikings were 5-5 this year, and they will hit the road to take on Leesville Road in the first round. Coach Connor, how are you?
Hey, Brian, thanks a lot for having me. I'm doing great. You know, it's playoff football time. It's a lot of fun.
It really is, and you know, it's. Some people say there are too many teams in the playoffs. I like to see as many teams as possible get in. I think if you're 500 or better, you should, have a chance. I don't think that 2-8 of the world probably should get in. But if you look at J.H. Rose, and I know they're rivals of you guys, but I know you're good friends with Will Bland. They've got a chance in their game against Northern Nash, don't they?
Well, I think they very much do. I think what it does is it encourages you to play a challenging schedule. To prepare you for this. You look at J.H. Rose, for example, you play them in somebody else's schedule and some other things, they don't necessarily have the same record. Every team they played and they've lost to was top seeds. Playing Northern Nash, who they played in the regular season, who was one of their losses. So it encourages you to, hey, if I go play challenging teams, figure out who I am, it's going to prepare me for conference, and I don't ruin myself when it comes to playoffs.
What do you look at in your matchup with Leesville Road?
They've got a great football team. I think when you look at their conference in Raleigh, they've played some really good teams. They're just well coached. Their conference kind of beat up on each other, and then they're kind of the class of their league with Cardinal Gibbons. They're kind of the top two teams, them, and they played for the conference championship the last week of the regular season, and then their conference was very wide open, but they had a lot of close games. Scores don't necessarily show that. When you break the film down, though, I think it's a tough league they play in out there, but they have a very sound program that does things well on the offensive side, defensive side, and they've had a lot of success past couple of years.
When you look at the bracket, Cleveland as the top seed, Cardinal Gibbons, you just mentioned them with Leesville Road, the number 2 seed, Hoggard as the 3 seed. So there are some really, really top-notch programs in this bracket, aren't they?
There really is. That's why I think, you go top to bottom, it's very impressive. I think Rolesville, who's got maybe one loss as the 5 seed, who's just played everybody. They're probably the best team out of Raleigh. A lot of people would consider out of Wake County. Cleveland's right up there too, and Cardinal Gibbons. But they played some challenging teams out west in Grimsley, who's a top seed out there. But they're a 5 seed. So you look at that and then you start to understand why, hey, these teams play each other. They're beating up on each other. That's why some of these records are some of what they are in these playoff games.
How's the health of your Vikings right now? Because that's another key, and that may have been an advantage getting that week off.
There's no doubt. I felt like last week we recharged. We play such a tough conference schedule. We go back to back to back. When you play, Havelock, J.H. Rose, Jacksonville, New Bern, into South Central, that's 5 physical weeks you got to be up and down for every single week. And we played well against South Central and won that rivalry game in the backyard brawl, and then the ability to kind of have a nice weekend off, come in and get some younger guys who play JV up to get some reps and a chance to develop them. It's almost like in some ways this is a bowl game in a lot of those weeks because you kind of get that extra week of preparation. We recharged last week, got a little healthy. Some guys are done for a little longer than a week or two, but we had a great Monday morning practice being at Veterans Day today too. It just came at a really nice time.
When you look at what has to go right against Leesville Road, what have you seen on film with Leesville?
They don't give up a lot of explosive plays on defense. They play pretty sound. They play their assignments well. They keep the ball in front of them. We have to be able to run the football with the kind of how they spread the field to take the pass away and keep that in front of them. We've got to be able to take advantage of our box and run the ball and to kind of bring those guys back in. I think that helps us. And then we got to try to get a steal or explosive or two in there. We've got to steal an explosive play, whether it's a turnover or a special teams, big explosive on special teams, and play some good defense to kind of match with them because they've scored a lot and they haven't given up a bunch.
When you look back at your season, 5-5, what are some of the things that you liked about it and some of the things you didn't like?
Yeah, I'm really proud of the way our team competed from week 1 down in Wilmington all the way through. I think you could easily look at our schedule and in a couple of those games, and we're 2 or 3 plays away from being 7-3 very easily. A couple of those games got away from us against some really good teams. And then I think in the same sense, you could look at, and we're probably 2 or 3 plays away from being 4-6, 3-7. That's just the caliber of the season we played. I felt like we kind of, we got hot. We played really well early. I'd love to see us, be able to steal one or more of those non-conference games in there. And then I thought we finished really strong, even though we weren't able to pull out the New Bern game. I wish we could have made a couple more plays or two and win that game. But, I was very proud of how we finished the last game of the regular season. I think we're playing our best football this season right now.
And you touched on it a little bit, and we talked with Will Bland about it. When you play in a difficult conference like the ones you guys are in, the Big Carolina 3A, 4A, we've seen it so many times through the playoffs that some of these teams have gaudy records and gaudy seedings, but they get upset because they haven't played the competition that maybe you guys have.
Exactly. I mean, you look at J.H. Rose again. I know we're talking a lot about them, but everybody they've played, it's not that they've just come in and they're losing to teams that are not in the playoffs. I think everybody they played minus one team is in the playoffs and top seeds and some of those things. So I think they're a scary draw for Northern Nash, who's already played them. So there's some history. And now you look at, hey, we just won all our games. We're a 3 seed, and now we've got to look over our shoulder who has a very athletic team and play J.H. Rose. But that's how challenging the playoffs. So I know a lot of people are saying there's a lot of teams, but I mean, the record doesn't necessarily show it, but for caliber of team, I think they deserve to be in there.
There you go. D.H. Conley is the 19 seed taking on Leesville Road, the 14 seed, coming up on Friday night. Coach, thanks for joining us. We certainly appreciate your time. Best of luck to those Vikings.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Always a pleasure. Go Vikings.
All right. That is Nate Connor, head football coach at D.H. Conley, as we continue on previewing a big Friday night. For one area team, they've got a chance to win a state championship. That is John Paul II. They finished 8-3 on the season. That's their record currently. The NCIS AA state championship game. The 3 seed Cary Christian at 9-1. The 5 seed JP2 at 8-3. And Sean Murphy is their football coach. He joins us now. Coach, how are you?
Doing great, Brian. Doing great. Excited to have a chance to talk to you about playing for a state championship. So everything's good at JP2 right now.
Take us back to last Friday, the 23-22 win over Parrott Academy. We all know for years and years that Parrott Academy just has had an unbelievable run of playoff runs, state championships. They do such a great job in 8-man football. And when you guys formed the school and formed the team, and you knew that was going to be the rivalry right there, and for you guys to go in a semifinal matchup and win that game 23-22, I know it meant a whole lot to you and the players.
Yeah, it was, Parrots is sort of the, they're sort of the, the height of 8-man football. They're outstanding every year. This was, in my opinion, probably one of the best teams that we've seen. They had a terrific running back, and I think our kids just had a really good week of practice. We made a couple of tweaks defensively going into the game. We knew we had to kind of limit their running back to, he needed to carry the ball at least 30 times, and that means, in most of the games he had played, he was carrying 14, 15 times and rushing for a lot of yards. So we figured the more carries, the closer the game. But our kids just showed up. They played really well. They were locked in, and we made big plays when we had to. And, we're playing well right now. So it's, we're pretty pleased where we are right now. We're healthy, and our kids are we're on an upward path, and hopefully we'll continue.
I saw some tweets over the weekend. They were asking, what is 8-man football? I've never seen it before. When I go to a game, either at Parrott or at JP2, and I arrive and start shooting it, I don't even think that it's 8-man. I mean, it doesn't really have that look. But it is a little different with the linemen and the backs and everything. But tell us a little bit about, the basics of 8-man.
Well, it's, again, we run the football. There's teams that are in spread set. The team we're playing this week is going to be in a spread set. Again, it's the 3 fewer players. It's still physical. There's still it still comes down to blocking and tackling and some of the basic fundamentals. For us, we run out of the I formation. So again, kind of take out a tight end and 2 receivers, and that it looks, aside from that, it looks like everything else. I think most of our kids that play it, don't see any real difference. We transition back and forth from 8-man to 11, and the kids seem to transition well. To me, it's still physical. It's still fundamentals. It's still football, and we've enjoyed playing it. To be honest with you, it's an exciting game. It's fan friendly, and lots of big plays. Probably the biggest thing with 8-man and 11-man is you can be down by a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter and still have a chance, because that's the big play element. In 11-man, I always felt like if you're up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, you probably have the game under control. In 8-man, you could be down 3 touchdowns, and it's the big play, because you have 3 less players on the field. The game can change very quickly. Even with special teams, most special teams, you rarely kick deep, so you're always onside kicking the football, and you've got chances to gain possessions because of the way the special teams are for 8-man compared to 11.
JP2 is the 5 seed at 8-3. The 3 seed Cary Christian, the opponent, coming up on Friday night. The game will be played at Faith Christian in Rocky Mount. So if you're in Greenville and you want to go see a state championship game, you can make that short trip to Rocky Mount coming up. What do you know about Cary Christian, Coach?
Very good. Their quarterback is Reed Harvey. His father played at NC State, and very talented quarterback. I think he's thrown for 2,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. Only 3 interceptions, so real talented quarterback. They've got a bunch of little skill guys that are very good at running their offense. They're they're a spread set, and they can strike quickly. Much different than the 2 teams that we played. The last 2 teams were much more run-oriented, so Cary's going to be a challenge for our secondary, our defense. Very good at executing the spread offense, though.
John Paul II, 8-3, playing for the state championship, the NCISAA state title coming up on Friday. Coach, what has to go right for your ball club to win this thing?
For any time you play in the championship game, can't make mistakes. Can't turn the ball over because we're more run-oriented. We've got to control the clock. Can't have penalties. Got to keep them off the field. Probably do a lot what we did last week against Parrott. We tried to milk the clock a little bit, try to keep them off the field, not give up the big play, and force some turnovers. I think if we do that, it's kind of been what we've been doing the last 2 weeks. We did it against Faith, and so we're gonna continue to kind of follow that model, and hopefully our kids they're gonna be locked in and ready. So again, it's just performing at their capability, and again, playing the type of football we're capable of.
All right, Coach, best of luck this week. Thank you so much for your time on this Veterans Day. JP2 playing for a state championship against Cary Christian. Best of luck from all of us.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate it.
That's Sean Murphy joining us on our show. We'll take a commercial break right now. We still have Aiden Griffin's coach, Paul Cornwell. What a job he did this season. Havelock's Brent Wooten joins us as well. Back with more on this Veterans Day edition of the Brian Bailey Show after this.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Parker Bird, and the best place to go for custom t-shirts, apparel, or promotional items is University Sportswear. University Sportswear was super easy to work with when I needed my custom shirts. From start to finish, University Sportswear provided superior customer service and a quality product that cannot be beat. If your business, organization, or event needs t-shirts or promotional help, then you need University Sportswear. Visit University Sportswear, ENC.com for contact information. Go Pirates.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time. It's bow time. Some classics never go out of style, like fresh egg, American cheese, and hickory smoked bacon on a made-from-scratch biscuit. But why stop there? Pair it with crispy bow rounds and a hot coffee or medium drink. Your morning deserves a breakfast that has it all. From the fluffy egg and crispy bacon to the melted cheese and, of course, a legendary Bojangles biscuit. That's the ultimate breakfast combo. Order in the app or at Bojangles. it's bow time.
There's a common misbelief today that to make it further, you need to push yourself, that you need to give up any joy to continue your rigid routine. Or you could try another way. Take some time to enjoy life, like having a Michelob Ultra with friends, because happiness is essential to living an exceptional life. Michelob Ultra, a refreshing and balanced flavor with only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra, proudly distributed by Carolina Eagle Distributing since 1989.
I'm Michael Vaughn with East Coast Grading and Utilities. Many of you know my dad, David Vaughn, and his work in putting in subdivisions all over Pirate Nation. But East Coast Grading and Utilities is not just for those type of big jobs. We're here for the homeowners. Whether it's concrete, driveways, hauling rock, or sand, whatever you need, East Coast Grading and Utilities can get the job done. Call us at 252-531-7494 or check us out on Facebook at East Coast Grading and Utilities.
Let me show you what goes on behind the scenes when making a Shaq-a-Roni. We created Shaq-a-Roni my way, an extra large pizza topped with extra cheese and extra pepperoni. It's a simple recipe. We take everything you love, then we build it bigger. Pizza gets bigger when you Shaq-a-Roni.
Hey, Pirate fans, Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates!
Pirate Radio.
It's awesome. Listen to it all the time. It's the best on the radio.
The voice of the Pirate Nation. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Clip Rock was getting me on the commercial break because in the summertime, I had Paul Cornwell's number wrong, and we had to fix it on the fly. So we just fixed it again, and he was kind of looking at me like, how did you get the same number wrong? But here's how I did it, Clip. I did it because I took the one from the summer and just copy and pasted it, and then I added Sean Murphy from John Paul II. I think I added one more, but that's how I got the same number wrong.
Well, don't apologize to me. Apologize
to Coach Cornwell. Yeah, that's probably one of the only things that went wrong for him all year is I can't get his phone number right. Hey, Grifton coach Paul Cornwell joins us now as we continue our previews of the first round of the high school football state playoffs. Coach, what a magnificent job you have done in turning that Eden Grifton program back around. I mean, the guys went out, won yourself a conference championship, and I would say the goal now is go as far as you can in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're, hey, we kind of like, why not us? We're playing, I guess most people feel like we're kind of playing with house money right now, but, I think we felt like in the spring, we physically, we felt like we were going to be better, and it's just a matter of a mindset getting changed of believing we could play. So it's been a lot of fun.
It really has, and the Eastern Plains 2A Conference is one of those leagues that, when we looked at it in the preseason, I think the coaches voted on this poll. It wasn't the media, the coaches, but they voted Eden Grifton dead last, and you guys win the conference championship. And I think two of the teams that were up in the top finished in the bottom, so it was topsy-turvy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a very competitive conference. There's no, everybody has got good players and good coaches, and I think everybody kind of knew we were going to have a good year. As a conference, Washington and us were the bottom two, and we wound up playing for the conference championship the last game of the season. So it just kind of shows you the balance and the depth of our conference. And so I don't know how many people really were surprised by all that in the league, but I know a lot of people outside were.
Eden Grifton gets the number 6 seed in the 2A East bracket, taking on the 27 seed North Lenoir. And the Hawks had a little better year than I think many people expected. They had a big win over Wallace Rose Hill, didn't they?
They did. I mean, that's a huge win, and they play in arguably one of the toughest conferences in the state. Every year with Wallace, East Tuflin, and James Keenan, and to get a win over Wallace, I know it was huge for that program and the school because it's probably one of the biggest wins in the school's history. So, yeah, I mean, they've had a great year, been very competitive in a very difficult conference. So, I know they're coming in with a lot of confidence.
What do you look for in your ball club as far as what you're expecting Friday night? Did the bye week help you guys get a little healthier, that kind of thing?
Well, we actually played a game last week.
That's right. You played Pamlico down there, yeah.
Yeah, so a makeup game from earlier in the year, which worked out, unfortunately the circumstances of why we had the extra week but it worked out good for us because that was a game we were going to wind up having to play 2 games in 1 week at some point. But yeah, for us, I think that was good. It helped us kind of maintain a game prep mentality through the week, and we didn't have a chance to kind of go backwards. We didn't have to, take any time off really. I think we're relatively healthy. We've had some injuries, so we're a little bit thin in some spots, but overall, we're fairly healthy. And, the biggest thing for us is mentally. This is to be the first playoff game any of these guys have ever played in. So fortunately we're at home, and I think that'll help. But we just have to have that mindset of it's the next game, and we just got to go out and play.
Did you have any thoughts of not playing the Pamlico game just to make sure you're at 100% health-wise?
No. I thought that, it was Pamlico's home game, so we were certainly going to honor that contract. We have a long-lasting working relationship with them, so I think it worked out for both teams, and it helped them with their playoff seeding as well. So, we were certainly going to play the game as long as the weather and everything permitted. So we weren't really worried about that.
When you look at the 2A East bracket, Northeastern, the top seed, they're always very, very good. Whiteville is always very, very good in 2A. Southeast Alamance, the 3 seed. I mean, there's some really good football teams in this 2A East bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. And those teams have had phenomenal years, and the seedings show it. They've earned the seedings they've gotten, and I think it's going to be very competitive. There's a lot of teams that are kind of you have the 2 or 3 at the top, but I think everybody else is very similar. When you look at the probably 5, 6 seed all the way down to the 32, there's Washington, I think, is the 29, and they may have been one of the best teams in our conference. So, you never know. I mean, that's why you just have to go and play, and give this time of year, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes and you get the ball to bounce your way a little bit, you can make a run.
What about the school pride at Ayden-Grifton? Because I know when things are down, you don't get a lot of school pride. How have you seen some of that, improve? Guys wearing Charger sweatshirts and caps and just, proud to be a part of the program.
Yeah, I think, we have definitely been down for the last few years, and there was, some negativity around the program and everything. But, this year the community's gotten excited, and, our volleyball team had a great run this fall as well. And,
yep.
So I think there's a lot of exciting for athletics at our school right now. A lot of the kids are excited, and so hopefully we're going to have a big turnout for our playoff game on Friday.
Should be fun. Ayden-Grifton's Chargers, the number 6 seed in the 2A East bracket, taking on 27 seed North Lenoir. And as we mentioned, North Lenoir had a huge win this past season in that conference they play, and they beat Wallace Rose Hill. And that's a loaded conference with East Duplin and James Keenan and all those teams down in Duplin County. But should be a great matchup. Coach, what has to go right for your ball club to win this thing?
We just have to kind of stay the course. We've been protecting the ball. We've had a good balance on offense, run and pass, and our defense is, we bend and not break. We fly to the ball. We're young in a lot of key spots, but the kids are playing hard, and I think special teams have been a big difference for us. So, we can kind of make plays and not turn the ball over in all those areas. I think we give ourselves a pretty good chance.
All right, Coach, we've known you for a long time, and we certainly appreciate your time today. Wish you the very best of luck. Here's hoping Ayden-Grifton makes a long run in that 2A East bracket.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you having me.
That's Paul Cornwell, head coach of Ayden-Grifton. His Chargers set to take on North Lenoir in the first round. And our final stop on our show today on this Veterans Day is at Havelock with Brent Wooten. His team is the number 1 seed in the 3A East bracket. He joins us now. Coach, how are you on this Veterans Day?
Doing good. It's special to practice on a day like this across from, Cherry Point. We have a lot of families connected to veterans and active duty military, so it's a special day for us, not only football wise, but from a military perspective as well.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, that when you think of Havelock, you think of the bases and you think of everything down there. A lot of teams, to our south, have real connections to the veterans, and we wouldn't be talking about high school football playoffs without those veterans. So we thank them for their service each and every day. How well are your Rams playing right now?
We're playing pretty good football. We've had to kind of, change some things going into the year due to some injuries and things like that. But, we're getting healthy going towards the playoffs. We finished on a good run in the year. And, one of the things that we've done the last couple weeks is nice is our run game's picked up quite a bit. And, Sharp's back healthy. So Johnny Williams is getting the ball a little more out of the backfield. So, hey, I think offensively the balance has been great. And, defensively we're playing solid football. If we do that, we got a chance to win football games.
What do you see in Westover, that first-round matchup?
I mean, it's crazy. They're 7-3. Typically you don't see 32 seeds that are 7-3. Fayetteville, notorious for football. Some of the better teams. 71st and Cape Fear, and you look down there, and Terry Sanford, some great tradition with regards to football. And Westover has a really solid football team. They're young in some places, but you look at film, they're big, they're physical, and obviously they're well coached. They seem to do things really well offensively and defensively. So it's going to be a good test in the first round Friday night.
71st is the 2 seed. You were mentioning some of those Fayetteville teams. Northern Nash undefeated on the year, the 3 seed. They take on J.H. Rose. Rose has the record of a 30 seed, but Rose should have beaten Northern Nash this year, shouldn't they?
I mean, you can flip a coin, but I mean, that's a testament to our conference as well as their conference. You look at Northern Nash, Rocky Mount, Southern Nash, Nash Central. They're a really strong 2A, 3A mix. You look at what we have with New Bern and Conley at the 4A side, and then you look at South Central, Rose, Jacksonville, and Havelock all in the playoffs. I mean, Rose is capable of beating anybody on our side of the bracket at any given time, and that's they've had some tough luck this year. And I can tell you this: I wouldn't want to be a top 5 seed playing somebody like that in the first round.
Yeah, and that's just a benefit of playing in a very difficult conference, which you guys do. Each and every year, we talk about it in the preseason, the Havelock-Jacksonville game, the Havelock-New Bern game, the New Bern-Jacksonville game. And in most years, the Rose Highs and the Conleys of the world involved in those mixes. They're no cupcakes. I mean, South Central's improving under Chris Cherry. So this is a very good conference you guys play in.
That's, people ask, how we were able to jump 71st to the 1 seed. They're a really talented team. But if you look back, we're thankful for our conference because they all play tough schedules, and they all, are pretty successful. And then you look at what we do out of conference when you go schedule, people like Wallace Rose Hill and Laney. And, that just gives you a chance to bump your rankings up a little bit. If you challenge yourself early and all year, they put yourself in a position on Friday nights in the playoffs to win close games.
What do you look at in your ball club coming up, the week off, getting healthier, and what has to go right for your team to play well in this first game?
I heard a little bit about what Coach Cornwell was saying at the end. Coach Cornwell is my line coach at North Pitt. I have a lot of respect for him, so a lot of my coaching philosophy comes from his tree. But the fact of the matter is he hit the nail on the head. This time of year, they're all good football teams. You got to take care of the football. You don't want to turn it over. You want to make sure when you get in the red zone, you score. And, if you give up big plays, you want to stop them and make sure they get in the red zone, they don't. So, it's going to turn into a season of, smaller games where you got to win those small battles each and every Friday night. And, if you don't turn it over, you're going to win a lot of playoff games.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we talked to Jeff Craddock at Tarboro. You're kind of in the same boat. I mean, this is what you guys work so hard for each and every year. The regular season, don't get me wrong, is very important. But when you guys hit the postseason trail, and week in and week out, the postseason, they're all very difficult. They're all very, they all have their own personality, I guess you could say. But it's really an exciting time of the year. It's sudden death, basically, and you just got to keep winning.
I mean, it's what it is. I think there's a lot of attention to detail when you're scouting and getting your kids prepared. There's a lot of talented teams. I think, any small advantage you can build for your program by being a little more prepared is going to help you out. And you're right. I mean, it's so many good teams out there. Coach Craddock hit the nail on the head with that. We had the opportunity to play Jacksonville and them this year, who are run heavy, and then you play Conley and Rose and New Bern that are more spread attack, so Laney as well. So we tried to diversify who we schedule to make sure that we can be prepared for any type of offense we'll see.
You guys have such a great staff with Caleb and your brother. How's all of that working out? Is everything, working out well with everybody on the staff? And because I know it was kind of an odd change at the time.
I mean, we're rolling right now. I mean, we've got a lot of guys, not even just those guys, a lot of guys with history in this program, like Coach Ray and Coach Frazier and Coach Sabdo, and we just, it's a really experienced staff. We got to make sure that we're doing what we're doing correctly every Friday night. And it's honestly a blessing for me to have those guys with all the experience that we have on the staff, and it makes my job an awful lot easier when we prep for games.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's got to make your job a little easier because those guys, they've seen a lot of football. They've been involved in a lot of big football games, and it's nice to have that kind of family-type atmosphere on your coaching staff.
It is. It's nice because, we all, when we watch film, we have certain things we see and we notice. And, sometimes as a head coach, if you're one of those staffs where you got one chief and a whole bunch of followers, then you maybe just see things from your perspective. But we sit down in staff meetings, we got a lot of different guys who know a lot about football. So, it's interesting sometimes to see what they think the other coaches are trying to do and, what their best plays are and who their best players are. So, it allows us to really kick any idea we could even think about kicking in a staff meeting and not miss anything.
There he is, the Havelock head coach, Brent Wooten. Coach, good luck this week. Enjoy your Veterans Day holiday, especially at a place like Havelock, and best of luck in the playoffs, and have a long run down there at Havelock.
Hey, thanks, Brian. We appreciate your support.
All right, that is Brent Wooten, head football coach at Havelock High School. We'll take our final break. We'll wrap up this Veterans Day edition of the Brian Bailey Show for you right after this.
This is John Gavigan with the Gavigan Agency. Our top priority is doing what is best for our members. Whether you are buying a new vehicle, a new home, protecting your family with life insurance, or filing a claim, our agency will be there every step of the way. Our goal is to become a trusted advisor for you and your family for all of your personal and commercial insurance needs. Give us a call in Greenville at 756-1400 for a car, home, business, or life insurance quote today, and give us the opportunity to show you the benefits of doing business with someone who cares.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier restaurant and bourbon authority. Jefferson's, Basil Hayden, Woodford Reserve, and a Midwinter Night's Dram are just a few of the incredible bourbon options. The Rick House features the very best steaks and fresh, made-from-scratch pastas. The Rick House can host your corporate event or special parties in the 3,000-square-foot banquet hall. Join the Rick House for Sunday brunch from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and for the wine tastings on the last Friday of every month. The Rick House.
Do life stresses have you feeling exhausted? Do your golf, tennis, and workouts have your body aching? If so, Kairos Float and Wellness Studio has your solution. Come visit us at 2800 East 10th Street and try our services like our float therapy, which is a private pool containing a saturated solution of Epsom salt that allows you to float effortlessly for ultimate relaxation and therapy. At Kairos Wellness Studio, we also have an infrared sauna, cold plunge, and salt and halo therapy that will leave your body feeling relaxed and healed. Contact us today at KairosFloats.com. Kairos Float and Wellness Studio. Restful intentions.
The convenience of Pitt Greenville Airport is waiting just outside your front door. Service is back, so you're connected to destinations worldwide through flights from American Airlines. Plan your next trip. Book your flights today at flypgv.com or aa.com.
Good news, business travelers. PGV and American Airlines has added a new early morning flight available now. Book today at aa.com and be on time for that connection in Charlotte. Fast, convenient, and close to home, PGV has American flights perfect for your next trip. PGV, where the Pirates fly.
The icy treat that can't be beat is Sparky Snowballs. From big kids to little kids, Sparky Snowballs has been making smiles happen for over 20 years. If you're not in the mood to chill out with a snowball, Sparky's funnel cakes and fried Oreos are a perfect Sparky-licious treat every time. Are you having an event, party, or fundraiser? Call Sparky's to come on site. Remember to follow Sparky's on Facebook or visit SparkySnowballs.com to see where they'll be next.
Pirate Radio, serving the great community of Greenville and beyond with the best content on air and on digital. You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Kind of a short week for Pirate football, though they had a Thursday night game last week, but this week taking on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Pirates a big double-digit favorite, 14 last I saw in the game. If the Pirates win, they'll be at 6 wins. They'll be bowl eligible, so it's a big win for East Carolina. We, of course, just got back from the press conference with with Blake Harrell and John David Baker, a couple of players. So team's fired up, ready to go, and trying to get win number 6 coming up this week. So that'll be interesting. 3:30 kickoff of the Bud Light pregame tailgate right here on Pirate Radio, and I'll join the festivities from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We leave on Wednesday for that. So looking forward to that trip. Looking forward to another Thursday night encounter for East Carolina's Pirates, this time on ESPN. So, if they can keep this thing going and Blake Harrell can keep these guys winning, we'll have to see how everything shakes out. But so far, so good as far as that goes. Want to thank all of our coaches for joining us tonight. If you're out and about on Friday, try to get up to one of these games and support these players as they open up the state playoffs. Tarboro and Jeff Craddock. Want to thank Will Bland, J.H. Rose. His Rampants go on the road, as does D.H. Conley and Nate Connor. Also want to thank Paul Cornwell. His Aiden Griffin Chargers are at home. Havelock also at home. Want to thank Brent Wooten for joining us. And want to thank Sean Murphy, the head coach at JP2. John Paul II set to play for the 8-man state championship coming up this Friday night. It's an exciting time of the year, and Friday is going to be a huge night of football all around the area. That's our show for today. Happy Veterans Day, everybody, and we'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
The Angus Grill, Bostic Sug, Bojangles, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show, right here on Pirate Radio. This is Pirate Radio, WGH.